Hey guys, welcome to the fourth episode of Mindshift. Here is Dimitri Vakuf, your host, and you want to watch Mindshift if you're interested in broadening your perspective in different areas in your life so that you live your life with more joy, determination, and prosperity. As some of you know who have watched the previous Mindshifts, me or the other people who are inviting here we are sharing our perspective on a topic we have been focusing very long time so that we can give you broader perspective on this topic and you can use it in your life. Today it will be a little bit different mind shift than the previous one. It won't be me or the people who are here are sharing their wisdom, but it's a person who I interviewed and he gave me, most certainly my mother, because she did the interview, but I got the interview here because I really was impressed with the stories she was sharing for this person. Every time we speak with her, she's saying something interesting, how this person overcame in his life on everything. So I really wanted to hear his wisdom. I couldn't reach him, but couldn't go there because he's in Bulgaria. But my mother did the job for that. I gave her the questions on what I need. So now we have the wisdom of this person, and I'm going to share it with you with all the good things and all the bad things that happened in his life and how he overcame all these things. This person is called Parush Atanasov, and he's born in 1930. This means that he's going to be 90 years old very soon. He doesn't take pills. He doesn't have a high blood pressure. He doesn't have cane. He doesn't use it at all. He doesn't have problem with the sugar. He's still gardening. And he has a smartphone. He's using a laptop, which is his own. And he even has a girlfriend who is 15 years younger than him. And when you hear all of these facts about this person, the first thing I believe is coming in our mind is that he had a very easy life, so that's why he could preserve his mental and physical health until this age of 90. But actually the story is at all not like this. Very early in his life, he was like 3-4 years old when his father remarried for a woman who was living in a close by village. So they were living in this village because they gathered the two families. They were living 15 people together in 2 rooms. And in these 2 rooms, they were sleeping on the floor because there was no space for that. Parush even says that he had to sleep very often next to the horses because there was no space for him. He had to start at the age of 8 to work and make some money because his father and his his stepmother, they couldn't make enough money to preserve the family. So until from the age of 8 to 15, he was working for someone to make some money. His father went to Germany because he couldn't find a proper job in Bulgaria. He went to Germany to work in very early age also, so he was without him there. He went to military school after he finished his high school because it was the only school, university which was not paid, so it was free at that point in communist Bulgaria. So he studied there for several years and then started working in this school. During the 1980s, some of his colleagues betrayed him to the party that he had different views than theirs. So the party decides to put him in a prison. And just before that happened, he could escape to Germany. And just to mention that at that point, he was married and he had 2 sons. And he had to leave to another country because of this situation. He went to Germany, but he didn't know the language. He lost the group with which he went there. So he ended up homeless for several days there. After he came back to Bulgaria, he couldn't go to his hometown because he was afraid he's going to be caught from the police and sent to the prison. So he had to stay in Sofia and working as a construction worker for 1 year. And of course, aside from his family, he was lucky that the communism regime went down and he could come back the next year to his family and to continue living with them. But the problems and the challenges didn't stop there. In 1999, his son fell down from a very high distance and he broke his 2 legs. And after this happened, his son went to a very deep depression. So he couldn't take care of himself. So Parush and his wife had to take care of him. The next year, from a fire which was created from his wife herself, she burned alive in their apartment. A cigarette she was smoking just fell down and just burned down the carpet. So the whole room after that went to ashes. So, just to give you the perspective so far, Parush is without his wife at the age of 71. His son is depressed. He take care of him. And his other son, who is painter, who is really, really, really talented, but he doesn't care a lot at all for any material things. He couldn't take care of himself too, so Parush had to take him under his wings again. So Parush is with his 2 sons at the age of 71. He had to take care of them. And besides all of this, which I shared so far, he says that along all of these years, he had at least 15 times in which he met death in the eyes. Once his tank turned around when he was in the military and he almost died there. Once he almost was burned alive in a fire. And several times he could drown himself. So when we hear all of these things and how life hit him so many times with the most dearest things in his life, then it's coming the question how this person could sustain himself and be so healthy at this age. And I'm gonna give you several lessons and beliefs he was holding dear, which helped him to be really strong and healthy in his life. The first thing he was saying was that health is way more important than wealth. And actually he was saying that health is the new wealth. Why he had this opinion? What he says is that he realized throughout his life that you make money sometimes just for the sake of money. And you're giving your health for that, and then you have to give the money to put back your health, to recover it. but sometimes this is not possible. What he's saying as an piece of advice in this area is that every time we got sick, the first thing we need to do is to try to use the traditional medicine, and then in very extreme cases when that doesn't work, maybe we can use pills. And this is one of his values and principles in life. The other one is don't stop working. He was retired from the military at the age of 45, but he didn't stop working at that age. And he actually is still working. He is doing the gardening almost every day or week. It depends on the season, of course. He's doing it himself because, as you heard, there is no one else who can do that for him. But when he finished, when he was retired, what happened was he started working, getting job in different industries. And actually at the age of 65, he opened his own business. He was selling handmade clothes in the shoreline to the foreigners. 65 years old. The other one he's saying is love. Love is a principle, lesson, or belief you need to hold dear. He says in the two moments which there were the most hardest moments in his life. The first one was when he was homeless in Germany and he was even considering suicide. The only thing which kept him was the thought that his family couldn't keep up without him. So the love and responsibility for his family was his driving force to continue. And the second moment, when his wife died, when he was 71, the same love and responsibility for his sons kept him alive. The other one is discipline. We need to be disciplined, he says. We need to be disciplined in life, with our health, with our thoughts, with our beliefs, with our actions. And he said that for him, the discipline came mainly from the army experience he had, from the military. And he's really grateful that he could go there. The other one is reading books. And I know that most of us have heard about that reading books is a very important thing, but let's hear his perspective. What he was saying was when he was young, when he was a child, and there was no any attention from his father or his stepmother because they couldn't keep up with that, just from the simple fact that there were 15 members in this family, so that was hard for them. They were thinking mostly of how they can feed this family, not how they can take care of the psychological or mental health or physical health of the children. But what he found there is that he can read books so that he can get the information he wants. So he started reading the classics. He was reading a lot of that. And after his son went into the deep depression, he started reading psychology. And he started reading self-help books. He's mentioning the authors like Dale Carnegie, like Louis Hay, like Robin Sharma. He's still reading these books, and he says most of his perspectives shifts were coming from these books. Here is one advice. The next one is very interesting, and I think we need to really hold this very dear for ourselves. He says that we really need to know where is finishing our influence and control and when we have to let go. This is a lesson he learned from the disease of his son, when at some point he was so motivated to help his son to recover, and just because of this big motivation and desire, at some point he he felt powerless and he felt even angry that he cannot do that. So then at some point he realized that what he can do at some point is just stop doing it, stop trying to control it, and be okay to let go. That there is some, you could call it destiny, or just circumstances there which we cannot control, and we need to be okay with that and let it go. And the other one is challenges. He believes that in order to overcome all the hardships which happen in his life, it came mainly from the earlier challenges he faced in his life. He says that when his wife died, of course it was hard for him, but he could remember that he went back to his previous strong mind very way faster than before that. And he could say that he can voucher this for the previous circumstances and challenges he had in his life, because they made him really strong, so that he can go through everything which happens after that in his life. The other one is also known from all of us, and this is forgiveness. And actually how he realized that forgiveness is really strong, it was when the communism went down and he came back to his own hometown. He wanted revenge from the people who betrayed him, and he was ready to kill them, literally. And he remembers the moment he went to literally kill one of these people. He went there and he saw that he was dead. And on the way back, when he was pondering and thinking about the situation, he actually understood that there is something wrong with that revenge thing. So he started reading the Bible, and he encountered several places when he understood and he realized that it's not about the revenge, but about the forgiveness. That the forgiveness is the thing which is going to help you feel better in your life. Because if you do the revenge, all the feelings you're going to have after that, they're going to stay with you. And the way you actually clean yourself from all of these things is by just go deep inside and forgive all of these people. The other one is, he said that whenever he felt that there is something wrong, not whenever, but in some cases, what he helped him was that he had to leave the environment he was. With an environment which people were way more open and growth oriented. So this helped him to actually keep him young. And actually he didn't have problems to change his environment to people who are younger than him. And actually his girlfriend, who is now around 75, is at least 15 years younger than him. So this is one of the examples he's actually showing that he has in his life, which show him how he always tried to find the environment which is going to help him to grow. Physical work is also, he says that physical work is the most important thing for his physical health, because in this way you use your body all the time, you don't stop using it. And this helps us to really feel more, our body to be young and to be strong, so that we can keep up with the years ahead. Meeting people, don't stop socializing, don't put yourself at home and don't go even though you are 89 years old, to stop doing that. When he turned 80, he created a big party for this. Of course, if you compare to these years, he was not alone, he was with friends, with way younger friends, and he really celebrated his 80 years of aliveness, of being in this world. And he actually put the goals, my mother shared that with me, to learn to use a computer, laptop, to learn to become, to use smartphone. And he did it at this age. And I'm gonna finish with two beliefs he said it's helping a lot of him to remove the toxic energy from himself and to keep going ahead. The first one is that people with different values cannot understand you. They just can't because they see the world in a different way. And the second one is the truth will be revealed sooner or later. He said that there are many cases in his life when this was true, but he just shared one of them when his son was sick, he became sicker, and he couldn't take care of him. He had to find a place, a nursery home, which can take care of him. But he realized that the only way to do that, to be accepted, his son to be accepted in this home, was to bribe the director. And he was actually ready to do that because he really needed this help. But just before this happened, the director was caught and he was replaced. So he could actually put his son in this nursery home without paying bribery. Just by saying all of these things from this story, I feel really inspired and really empowered for my life. I hope that there were some ideas or insights you got from that which can help you in your life to become more joyful, more prosperous, more determined, more happy, or whatever you're looking for. So that was from me today. I hope I'm gonna see you next time again and have an amazing week. Bye bye.